Welcome back to Harbour Unboxed for another episode of Unboxing Boxes. It is that time of the month where we unbox some boxes, and if you're lucky, we unbox those boxes. So kind of a double unboxing there, though in the case of this one, it's just unbubble wrapping. Gigabyte, what are you doing? I'm going to have to get into my contact Alex, because he's not really playing the unboxing boxes game that well with his bubble wrap here. But anyway, it's a very heavy motherboard, this one, so keen to check it out. It's definitely a motherboard. So we will get into it and take a look. And for those of you who aren't aware of what Unboxing Boxes is, it's just, like I said, an episode that we do about once a month where we show you guys the products that we have on hand, or the products that are coming in sort of as we get them. So some of these boxes have been sitting around for a few weeks now, waiting for me to get to them. So rather than just open them and chuck it on the test bed and do whatever I'm going to do with it, I show you guys the products as I get them, and there's quite a few of you that seem to enjoy that. And YouTube has informed us that if we don't do at least one unboxing related video per month, we will lose the right to use Unboxed in our name. So we'll start with the bubble wrap here. But yeah, really disappointed with Gigabyte's effort on this one. Not even a satchel, just bubble wrapped. Anyway, I'll get over it, but we'll get into it and see what we've got here. At least we have 2 layers of bubble wrap, so that's something. Ooh, okay. As many of you are probably aware, I'll just get this off first. As many of you are, ooh, that's sharp. Try again. As many of you are probably aware, Intel released their Skylake X refresh. So now it's their 9th gen series. They skipped 8th gen. So we went from the 7980XE to the 9980XE. And all you got was a soldered TIM that it slightly improved thermals, but then it also made it worse because everyone just de-lids the 7000 series, the Skylake X series. They just de-lid them. Improves thermals dramatically. You can't do that with the soldered chips, and the soldering doesn't really help that much. So it's kind of worse. Anyway, motherboard manufacturers, motherboard partners have released an X299 refresh, I guess you could say. Certainly wasn't going to be the X399. That mess continues. But anyway, we have the new Gigabyte X299 Aorus Master, and their new Master motherboards, particularly from the Z390 range, have been very impressive. So we'll see what this has in store for us. TDPs and all that sort of stuff haven't changed for the new processors. As I said, they're just soldered, really. That's it. Slight change in price, but nothing really worth getting too excited over. But these new motherboards do look much improved. Gigabyte already had quite an extensive X299 range. They kept releasing boards and improving them. But now we have this one, the X299 Aorus Master. And like a lot of these Gigabyte boards with the huge full-size backplates, it's very, very heavy. And I can't believe what I'm seeing here, but it looks like we have real finned heatsinks. Indeed, we have 2 real finned heatsinks. They look like about a 6mm heat pipe connects them. They're sort of, I still don't really get why they do this. It's got this aluminium shroud thing over it, which completely blocks the airflow through the heatsink. So definitely reduces its effectiveness. I imagine thermals will be quite good anyway. But yeah, a bit disappointing that. This heatsink here looks pretty good. I don't know if there's a fan in behind there. It looks pretty blocked up. So again, you've got some nice fins. Well, you guys, I'll take this off. There we go. It looks a bit nicer with all that plastic removed. So it looks like, no, that's probably an RGB cable. There's a little wire sticking out here. That probably should be under there a bit better. But yeah, it doesn't look like there's a fan or anything forcing air through. There's definitely no way of getting air through the backside or either side of the plastic I/O shroud. So yeah, again, airflow is going to be pretty limited there. It's nice to see finned heatsinks, but it's a bit disappointing that they're not a bit more practical. But anyway, I haven't tested it yet. Obviously, I've just unboxed it. So if you guys are keen, I will do some VRM thermal testing of these new X299 motherboards, because there are a few of them. And this is obviously Gigabytes. But in addition to that, we have 2 8-pin connectors. We have 3 M.2 slots. They've got the new thermal guards on them. I've been thinking of doing like a roundup of testing all the different thermal guards of all the motherboards and seeing which ones are rubbish, if any of them work really well. So that could be something that I will do. Gigabyte is saying that it has a 12-phase VRM, an actual 12 power stage doubled. Yep, there are doublers on the back. So it's probably 6 PWM signals, creating 12 phases. It's pretty much the only way to go there. Thermal pad looks good. So yeah, it could be quite a good performing board, this one. Nice feature set. We've got wireless AC. They've got 2.5 gigabit LAN along with gigabit LAN. So we're starting to see that 2.5 gigabit LAN used a lot more on motherboards. And then you've got your sort of Gigabyte RGB lighting stuff. Looks like this will be lit here. There's probably some other lights hiding all over the place, and yeah, I'll fire that up at some point. Don't know if I'll get it in time to show any B-roll. But that is the new Gigabyte motherboard. No pricing information for either the US or Australia. It's not available at this point in time. I don't know if anyone's reviewed it yet, but obviously I haven't. But anyway, that's that. We should probably move along to see what else I've got. We might as well tuck into this big MSI box we've got here. It's very big, not super heavy, but MSI like to strap the hell out of their boxes. It makes getting into them a little bit more difficult than it should be, or would be otherwise. Okay, like I said, big box, not particularly heavy. I think it says X299 on the side actually, so that kind of gave it away. What do we got? Okay, so they're just empty motherboard boxes. And that's what we got in there. Is that it? That is it. Okay, so second box, second X299 refresh motherboard. And this is the Meg X299 Creation. So we had the X399 Creation, which is pretty much my favorite X399 motherboard. Absolute beast, that thing. I'm using it in my editing rig, and so's Tim. So that probably tells you how much we like that particular board. But here is the X299 version. Same sort of shattered glass theme, which some of you like, a lot of you don't like. Tim and I don't mind it. You don't really see a lot of it when you've got it installed in the system, so probably doesn't matter too much, but I think the board looks fine. Okay, we'll have a quick look at this one and then we'll move on. I won't go on too much about this one. Not sure about the VRM on this board. Whoop, is that the board there? Yes. Actually, I'll show a little bit more of the what you get with the card. The motherboard, because MSI do provide quite an impressive package with their Godlike and Creation and all their higher end motherboards. So this little thing that looks like a mini ITX graphics card is actually an M.2 NVMe SSD expansion card. And it looks like this one you can expand with an additional 4 M.2 cards. So you just stick that in your PCI Express x16 slot and you can go crazy with NVMe drives. In this package here, it looks like we have a Thunderbolt 3 adapter. Yep, we got 2 Type-Cs and then 2 of your sort of full-size DisplayPort connectors. And then that will go in a PCI Express x1 slot. So, Thunderbolt 3 support. Got some high-gain antenna. And then a little bag here, which features things like your I/O shield. What else have we got in here? Looks like it is a high-bandwidth SLI bridge. And then there's just a whole heap of RGB connectors and SATA cables and some stickers and things. So plenty of stuff in there. And then of course we have the motherboard. Some performance numbers there. Probably don't need to worry about those. We'll work that out for ourselves at a later date. And here we have another heavy X299 motherboard. Though this one isn't quite as heavy as the Gigabyte board, as there is no full-size backplate. But it is still a big, that's a huge motherboard, extended ATX board. Very, very serious looking VRM on that one. Don't know if that's a 12 or 16 phase or what. It has 3 8-pin CPU power connectors. Probably not required. 2 would be more than enough, but we've got 3, so not sure how much juice you're planning on pumping. And I'm not even sure how many power supplies have 3 8-pin power connectors. But anyway, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doublers on the back. Yeah, it looks like just 6. So that's probably a 12-phase V-Core VRM, which is what Gigabyte are offering. So similar. The only thing I don't really love about this board is that it's got the same heat reservoirs, the aluminium blocks over the V-Core VRM. Yeah, and it's got the same behind the I/O panel as well. A little more airflow. Oh, once you put the I/O shield on, there won't be. So yeah, and it's connected by what looks to be a flat 6mm copper heat pipe, nickel plated. That's probably what it is. Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to run pretty cool anyway, so we'll give that a test. Probably have to use my 7980XE as I don't have a 9980XE, but as I said, they're the same thing anyway, so not really a big deal there. And it looks like in addition to gigabit networking, we have 2.5 gigabit Ethernet as well, and we also have 3 M.2 slots, again with some sort of thermal shielding. We'll have to see how well that works. That's sort of integrated into the chipset heatsink as well, or the platform controller hub heatsink. But yeah, pretty cool looking board. Keen to give that a go as well. Okay, just knocked a heap of things off. We'll I'll try and get the big ones out of the way first so we can clear up a bit of space. We've got two Corsair boxes here. We'll start with this one, I suppose. See what we got in here. Okay, try and do this again. Not looking at anything yet. Ooh, I've been wanting these. Looks like we got 2. Okay, let me dig these out. Hopefully one day I end up with a set that's big enough to do these unboxing boxes. Looks like they've sent me a pair of the new H115i RGB Platinum all-in-one liquid coolers. And they're both the 280mm version, I believe. Yep, that is correct. So these will be for my new test systems that I'll be building shortly, or upgrading some of the test systems that I have. Okay, so there's already a few reviews floating around of these guys, so I won't go into too much detail. I won't bother unboxing them or anything like that. You'll see them in future builds, and we'll probably do some testing and stuff like that. $180 US or 230 Australian, so not too bad there. You can get it for $230 at PC Case Gear. We recommend using those guys if you can. Really good customer service. And yeah, it has a 280mm radiator. They've upgraded them now to have the ML, which are the magnetic levitation fans. So you got a pair of 140mm ML fans with RGB, of course. So it is the RGB version. So the previous non-platinum model had the RGB block, but not RGB fans. And that's just, I don't know what Corsair were thinking. They RGB everything these days. But anyway, that's that. The water block also has 16 embedded RGB LEDs now that can be fully controlled using their Q software. And it supports all current platforms. I don't know. Tim didn't use one of these on his Threadripper build. I think he used the H150i Pro from memory. Anyway, doesn't offer full TR4 coverage, but he says it works really well. Temperatures are cool and there's no hot spots or anything like that. So yeah, interesting to have a bit of a look at that. But anyway, I'll move along. Okay, next big box would be probably, I'll go for this one. I'll do this one next, see what's in here. And then we'll just have the small packages to deal with, which are a bit easier and often just as exciting. I've got a few of them. Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. This is definitely going to be featured on the channel, without a doubt. Probably in a build, but I'll also be keen to do some VRM thermal testing with the 2950X. So, this is the new Asrock Phantom Gaming 6. And if you can't tell, it's an X399 motherboard. And the point of this one is it's meant to be an affordable X399 motherboard. And you might be thinking, well, why do you want an affordable X399 motherboard? Because it's a high-end desktop platform. People are willing to spend a lot of money and get tons of features and all that kind of stuff, which is true. However, In the case of AMD, their CPUs, the first generation Threadripper CPUs, are still on sale, and they're bloody cheap. I made a video about the 1920X over a month ago now, and that thing had dropped down to $400 US back when I made that video. It was definitely over a month ago, and today you can pick one up on Newegg, Amazon for like $420 US. So that's insane for a 12-core processor. Of course, we do have Zen 2 coming next year. That'll probably be announced at CES, but it could come quite a bit after that, so hard to say there. Anyway, we've got the 1920X for $420 US, which is incredible buy there for a 12-core CPU, and then the 1950X for $600 US, which is just mind-blowing value for a 16-core, 32-thread CPU. This board here will only support the 180-watt TDP CPUs, which is up to the 16-core model, so the latest processor would be the 2950X. And really, that's perfectly fine, because the higher-end models, you start getting well up over $1,000. And while it would be nice to pick up, one of the 24-core models down the track at a reasonably affordable price, you're probably at that point better off getting whatever Zen 2 has to offer within that 180-watt TDP limit. So I think this has an 8-phase VRM. Not 100% sure on that. I will have to dig into it and take it apart and get a better look at it. It does have 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, so that's kind of nice. We're starting to see that on a lot of motherboards, so hopefully we will start to get some affordable switches, or at least some switches that aren't too ridiculous in terms of pricing. But yeah, prior to the release of this motherboard, I think your cheapest X399 boards were about $300 US. And this one will be coming in at, I think, $250, so it might get closer to $200, but even at $250, that's still $50 off. And when you're buying a cheap first gen 12 or 16 core processor, saving that $50 is quite important. Oh, that's sharp, it bit me. Soldered tabs on the back. So along with the motherboard in the package, we get an I/O shield, we get expansion slot sort of adapter card for Wi-Fi, though I don't see any Wi-Fi adapters, so that would be an optional thing if you put one in the M.2. It does have an M.2 Wi-Fi, but it isn't populated. And this would be an SLI bridge. So then you got your manuals, a couple of M.2 screws and all that typical kind of stuff that you find in motherboards. I'm running out of room already. So back of the board, front of the board, some decent sized heat sinks there on the VRM, not thinned. Really only looks like it could be a 6-phase VRM. So maybe it's an 8. I don't know. Anyway, I'll take it apart later and work it out, but there are no doublers on the back side of the board. They could be on the top side. I can't see them, so we'll have to take the heatsinks off and have a better look later. But anyway, it is targeting 180 watt TDP processors, so it should work fine there. And as I said, it's just an affordable board for those cheaper 12 and 16 core CPUs. Basically, if you're spending over $1,000 up to $1,800 US for the 2990 WX, then motherboard price doesn't matter too much. You'll just buy something like the X399 Creation from MSI. But if you're not after an $1,800 US processor, then you probably don't want to spend $500-600 US on the motherboard. And this is where this guy comes in. And it does have some really nice features. Like I said, it's got that 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. It's got decent audio. Looks like we've got 3 M.2 slots. One of them has a thermal shield, so that's kind of nice if it works well. 8 SATA ports. And yeah, so it's, for an X399 motherboard, it's got a reasonable amount of features at the $250 price point, which, as I said, makes it pretty much the cheapest X399 motherboard you can buy right now. Unfortunately, not available in Australia just yet, so I can't give you the Aussie pricing. Okay, we should probably get rid of this box because I've been meaning to get it the last few goes now. Not sure if I've got it upside down or not, but who cares? We'll get into it. Oh, okay, very nice. I'll get these out. I'll just put them here. Okay, we won't unbox these. I'll just quickly show you that I have them, and there'll probably be a review coming up on the channel reasonably shortly. I'll try to get onto these as quick as I can. We just reviewed the RTX 2080 Ti Aorus Xtreme graphics card. Looked really awesome. The cooling was decent, wasn't as good as I was hoping for. The heatsink looks amazing, the cooling looks amazing. Unfortunately, it's not the most amazing performing cooler, despite being one of the more amazing looking ones. So that was a bit of a shame. It wasn't terrible or anything, but yeah, it wasn't as good as I was hoping for. So anyway, I think these have pretty much the exact same cooler, so it's probably going to work really well on the 2070. Decent on the 2080, and then yeah, you've already seen the 2080 Ti. So that's that in a nutshell. Probably just rattle off some pricing quickly. The 280 model is selling for $860 US, I believe it is, and we get a bit rolled on the conversion here in Australia. It's $1,480 Australian. Yeah, and then this guy really isn't much better. So that's $600 US. The MSRP is $500 US, but you are getting that flashy looking cooler, so you're paying a hefty premium for a fancy light show if that's what you want. And then in Australia, it's like $1,050 Aussie. So yeah, that's a bit brutal. Moving right along, we'll get this guy. Okay. And what have we got here? Very small package. Yes, I was expecting these. This is the new Crucial P1 SSD, and it's an NVMe SSD. It is, so we got, looks like, oh, it says it right there, 1000 gigabyte. We have the 1 terabyte models, 2 of those, so I'm keen to give them a whirl. These use QLC NAND memory. So that is quad layer NAND memory, and that is, I haven't actually had any experiences with it yet. TLC got to the point where it was quite reliable. So for those of you who don't know, SLC is 1 bit per cell, and that's pretty much the most premium stuff you can get. You don't really come across too many SLC SSDs though, especially for sort of consumer grade stuff, because they're just hugely expensive. Then MLC, which became quite popular, that's 2 bits per cell. TLC, which is now sort of in your Samsung Evos and all that kind of stuff, that's 3 bits per cell, and then these are 4 bits per cell. Basically, the more bits per cell, the higher chances you have of any read-write errors occurring. The lifespan or endurance of the drive is reduced, as you are writing more per cell, and then the performance overall can be reduced as well. So yeah, interested to see how these quad layer SSDs perform. No idea. But yeah, we have the P1 in 1 terabyte, and I could possibly throw these in RAID and see how they go there, maybe on one of the new X299 motherboards. As for other capacities, there is a 500 gigabyte model getting around. Can't recall the prices on that, sorry. And I think there's a 2 gigabyte version coming up as well, but that's not out yet. So the 1 terabyte model is probably going to be the most popular because it's $170 US, so that's pretty bloody cheap, though it does work out to be about $280 in Australia. So not a super great buy here, but yeah, if you're in the US, this might be a good option. We'll have to test it out and see. Okay, we'll deal with this one next. This little guy, it's shrink wrapped box. Cool, we have a box of plastic stuff. More plastic. Oh, there we go. I think it was upside down. This wasn't really in the middle of the plastic stuff, but anyway, it looks to be perfectly intact without a mark on it. And what we have here is another SSD, another NVMe SSD, Gen 3 PCI Express x4, and this is the XPG SX8200 Pro. Bit of a catchy name there. So apparently this is ADATA's fastest SSD to date. So that's quite impressive. I think it is 3.5 gigabytes per second read and 3 gigabits per second write. So pretty snappy there. Pretty typical looking M.2 SSD. It has SLC caching, and there is a DRAM cache chip on either side as well. So that's your cache buffer there. And I have no idea about pricing in Australia or the US for this model because, well, it's not available yet. So can't comment on whether it appears to be good value or not, but we will probably test this out on the channel in the not too distant future. We've got a few SSDs here. I actually have the new QLC Samsung SSD as well. So perhaps we do a little SSD roundup of affordable and fast SSDs. And there's a little heat shield thing here if your motherboard doesn't have one. Okay, the last actual box we have on hand is this one here. And more bubble wrap. More bubble wrap. More bubble. No, that's actually it. Oh, all right. I know what this is. Now, you've probably seen quite a few other YouTubers already cover this stuff because, well, they're not lazy like me and haven't left it sitting on their floor for a couple of weeks. But this is what we saw at Computex, the G.Skill Royal RGB memory. And I have DDR4 4000 CL17 memory. So not only does it look pretty bling, it's going to be ridiculously fast. I've actually been keen to get some 4000 memory to test out the Coffee Lake Refresh CPUs, in particular the 9900K. Wow, I can see my reflection really well in this. It's a little bit scary. So I've got 2 sticks of that with a nice little cleaning mat. And then I'm hoping this is the little display box that you will have seen. Kyle from Bitwit showed this off a while ago on his channel. He made a really cool video about it all. And that looks to be it. He got the gold and the silver. It looks like we've just got the silver, but it is the 4000 speed, which, as I said, I'm very, very pleased about because I want to do some benchmarking with that. We've got a USB cable here. I wonder if that's going to reach my... oh, whoops, that goes in there. If I can put that in there as well. Got somewhere to clean that, store that. I just had to wait a minute, I think, or plug them into the right DIMMs when there's only 2 of them. Anyway, there you go. My RGB memory. Very happy with that. So that was a bit of a surprise. I actually forgot I had that sitting there, and sorry for G.Skill for not getting to that sooner. All right. We have what feels like a box in a bag. And that is actually what we have, a box in a bag. I have absolutely no idea what this is at all. Not a clue. Sometimes I can kind of tell because who it's been sent by or the shape of the box, but no idea what this is. Five-port USB smart quick charger, brick smart charger from Team Group. Okay. Color me intrigued. This was not... I could have never guessed that this would be in here because I don't really know what this is. Well, it's obviously a USB charging station type of thing. Okay. I'll try and... Oh! Wow, that had a really good suction on there. And what do we have here? It looks like a power cord. It's an Australian power cord as well. That almost never happens. So there we go. 2-pin power cord. Very good. Wow, this looks like something Tim would absolutely love to have on his desk because it looks like it is Lego compatible. It's not an official Lego product, I don't believe. Oh, that's kind of cool. Wow, Tim would... I imagine Tim would love this. We've probably got the wrong person unboxing it. But yeah, pretty simple but kind of cool product. So you just plug your power in here. So it's not a USB hub at all. It is merely a power charging device. Yeah, so it's definitely not a USB hub like I thought it might have been. I think it said Yeah, it didn't say hub at all. It just said 5 USB port smart quick charger. So you sit that wherever you want, your kitchen, wherever you charge all your devices, whether that's at your desk or whatever. You can stick a couple of Lego men on there or integrate it into some kind of Lego thing. It can actually, you can put it on top of Lego or Lego on top of it. And then there's this little canister thing which goes underneath and you can put bits and pieces in there, cables and things. And it has, via this port here, it looks like, what is it, Qualcomm Quick Charge 3.0, and it does say it's Lego compatible, weighs 250 grams. What other specs? So it outputs 55 watts in total, 1.3 amps max. So each of the standard USB Type A ports has a combined 8 amps across all of them. It says each can do a maximum of 2.4 though. Then for the quick charge, it does 3 amps at 5 volts, 2 amps at 9 volts, and then 1.5 amps at 12 volts. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a little 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter brick. It's as thick as 6 centimeters tall, and it apparently is a product that Team Group now sell. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, would not have ever guessed that there was a Team Group Lego sort of themed, though not sure if it's an official Lego product, but it does say Lego compatible on the thing. Yeah, desk charger. Very cool. I might have to try and, if I want to keep this one, I'll have to somehow keep this one a secret from Tim. So if hopefully he doesn't watch this episode. Alright, we're getting there. We are getting there. Last 2 packages. We'll open this one up first, just because it's the closest one to me. No other reason. My RGB memory is still going strong. We got 2 boxes in here. Ooh, Plantronics headset. They're always good. And a Nikon controller, which I'm not that familiar with. Okay, so apparently the deal here is that Nikon and Plantronics have teamed up to create a limited edition sort of controller headset combo. So you can see that they're designed to go with one another. They support PS4 or PC. PC is obviously what we're interested in. And this seems like a pretty cool combo for Rocket League players, or, well, anyone that plays a game on PC that requires a controller to be enjoyed to its fullest. And then, of course, if you use PS4, then, well, you use PS4. So I'll take a quick look at the headset first. I have a Plantronics headset that I use. I can't remember the exact model, but I use that for when I game, and yeah, really, really comfortable. It's one of the few headsets that doesn't give me a bloody migraine after a few hours of gaming. So we've got a detachable mic, very nice. Shh, stop making noise. Alright, so we have a very lightweight headset here. It's not wireless though, so we have a connector here for hooking that up. So this little device here is kind of cool. This is the Rig Game volume control dial. I think I got that right. Basically, it's a volume control dial. It makes volume louder or quieter. It's generally how they work. But the cool thing about this is, actually, to show you the cool thing about this, I actually have to get the controller out, so I'll do that just quickly. Okay, here is the controller. It is also very lightweight. It feels really nice. If you can hear a humming in the background, I do apologize. My next door neighbor has started mowing his lawn, so yeah, we'll have to put up with that for the remainder of this episode. Hopefully it's not too loud on the microphone. But the cool thing about this controller is it has your little headset jack there, and then this has a little tab to keep it level or straight, and it plugs in just like that. And while you're gaming, if you want to adjust your volume, you just go bang like that, instead of having to use the headset up here, or having a dial down here where you're trying to mess around with that. You can basically just grab that with your thumb and adjust the volume up or down. So that is pretty neat. I really like that. And then that just connects in up here. You can swivel around there. That works pretty well. And then down here we have the connection for the microphone, which is, as I said, detachable, quite obviously detachable. That plugs in like so. And yes, they are still very comfortable like my other Plantronic headset. They hold on nice, super lightweight. They don't grab your head really hard, don't crush your ears, but at the same time they hold on really well. And then they come down to your controller. And the controller connects via a USB Type-C. There's probably a cable somewhere in here. Here we go. So yep, Type-C at the controller end, that slots in nicely, and then you've got a Type-A that'll go to your PS4 or your PC. And then there's also a little packet here with this little key, which you can use to remove these lugs at the end of the controller. They slide out, and you can weight them. So if you want to make the controller a bit heavier, because without any weights it is very light, which I quite like, but if you like a bit of weight, so you can make one side heavier than the other, or however you want to do it, you can do that with the weight system. Alternatively, you can use these little weights for working out as well. Yeah, that's about right for me. Good size, that one. So, yeah. Neat controller. I'm by no means a controller expert, but it seems very good to me. I'll probably take this to Tim's later this month for our Q&A, because he loves console gaming, and I'll see what he makes of it. But yeah, so that's the Nacon Revolution Pro Controller 2. Quite a neat device. Not 100% sure on the price for this one or the headset. I wasn't able to find any pricing information, and I'm not sure how you go about purchasing them in a bundle, whether there's a discount or if they have to be bought separately. Not 100% sure on that one. Then lucky last, wrapping up the episode, we have this package here, and inside what looks like we have a Razer product. Yes, we have a Razer product. And what is it? What is it? The Nari wireless gaming headset. Okay, so the Nari is Razer's new top-of-the-line wireless headset. And, whoa, massive cans on this thing. And this is one of 3 models, so I suppose this is the mid-range model, the standard Nari. So there's the Nari Essential, which is a bit cheaper, and the Ultimate, which is a bit more expensive. But this is the middle road option. So we have a USB charging cable, and then if you don't want to use it wirelessly, you can use a 3.5mm audio jack. Detachable microphone, fully swivel. If you're familiar with the other Razer headsets that feature this sort of design, then you'll be pretty familiar with what these offer, but they are wireless. You're looking at, just for the standard model, I suppose, just the Nari without anything extra added to the name, you're looking at $150 US or 250 Aussie, so quite expensive down under. But yeah, they're supposed to be the new flagship awesome model, so I will test these out on my computer later today and see how they go. I'll be testing these out. I might even play some Rocket League or something. I haven't played that game for a very long time, so I'll give the controller a whirl in that with a couple of mates and see what I make of that. As always, I'll put links to buy or inspect the price of any of these products or any other details down in the video description, so if you're interested, check that out. But yeah, this was a fun little surprise. Keen to give that a go. I'll probably chuck that in the kitchen, because that's where we seem to charge our phones and stuff for the most part, and all the kids' devices. You'll be seeing, I won't be reviewing this memory, because we don't really review memory, but it'll be featured in a few builds, and I'll be using it, as I said, to test out the 9900K, maybe the 9700K as well, with some much faster memory than we have been. So that could be interesting. So memory scaling type video, perhaps. A benchmark video of some description anyway. Then I will be doing a build with this new motherboard, the new Phantom Gaming 6 X399 motherboard. Definitely doing a build on that, and I'll probably do some kind of VRM test as well, just to see how that goes. I don't think I'll chuck the 32 core processor on there just to see what happens. I think I'll stick to the spec and put the 2950X or whatever onto that board. Then we have the new X299 boards. Probably do some sort of test with those. Probably won't do a build, or probably just do a VRM thermal test and some overclocking, whatever else you guys want to see. SSDs to check out, couple of graphics cards. I've just unboxed myself a whole heap of work, so I probably should wrap this episode up and go get into it. Not sure what I'll start with. My preference is kind of leaning towards doing a budget Threadripper build, because those 1920X and 1950X CPUs are just amazingly good value right now. And yeah, keen to check these out as well. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode of Unboxing Boxes. I'm your host, Steve, and I will see you again soon.